Hello, this is Gerald Advance. Because letters are involved in words and they have actually associations in them that balance themselves out, in a way we don't even realize that, I can make you aware that it is following really certain rules of choices, rules of influences that gets your focus towards a certain certainty or towards a follow-up or really a quite uncertainty where you have to balance out things. That's very quickly said the whole thing of letter choices that you can have. Most easy thing will be if you want to realize what words express when you use letters. All the letters have a certain order of complexity. They start, like in numerology, with a complexity that also fits to numbers, so to the number 1, 2, 3, and so on, and to these balances around these numbers, the places that are used for it, or the timing that is used for it, or the balance from something that doesn't keep a steady place or steady timing. Even there, you can notice some behavior that you can define. And all kinds of letters are used for all of these associations. The most difficult words are those where the letters are not very clear, not very nearby each other in logic. So you have a logic which keeps itself around a center so that you can describe physical features very well, or you have letters that follow up directions. The last category really tries to figure out what is missing. So when we have a combination of a clear vision with the things that are missing, and to where we need to fill it in, there is already some complexity where you have to understand the system itself quite well before this becomes clear. And I will make some of these words for you in a demonstration. And I demonstrate these words, even if they are quite far away as focuses from each other, we can still combine them and they make sense once we understand what's actually going on. But it needs a little bit preparation, a little bit of explanation first, and then you can sense what is going on with my results in the end. But I need to give you, of course, a little bit of introduction as well to really be sure. How can we combine A with R with T? Then you have to understand A very well, or R very well, or T very well. So it is already in the two ranges of focuses. So the first range of focuses, they really are down to earth, try to see in an objective way fixed points in space. That's the first category where A and T will lie. R, on the other hand, it's at the far edges, as R also said, it's in the far edges, and it's about the materialization. It's on the second degree, so the second degree is always about materialization. Why is that? Because you start somewhere like in the middle, it evolves, it materializes, and then it ends its cycle. These are the three universal principles that are also in as 3 stages available in the whole system in these 3 times 3 focuses that you have there. So the R is in the second position, so it is in that context seeking area where you actually lose it a little bit, like, okay, there's so many variations there, so we can't know where it's going to. The direction is not clear. The positions are not clear. So these are context-based, found only by understanding how the things actually work together, like the R actually wants to express. But first, let's have the A. The A is there in my focus before me. It's a starting point. Depending on how I will combine it, it will be a starting point somewhere in space, but focused and balanced out by a middle focus. That's my main focus, is the middle focus, where I will balance out the horizontal, vertical, and diagonal, and from there onwards I will choose a middle point of which I will call the number 1, which I will point what I'll be able to point out, and it's my interpretation to put it somewhere. So I'm in a learning process as well with A. It's not fixed, but I try to have a fixed point that I say, okay, this is a good middle point. That's the mindset. The R is a completely different thing, and the A, or my choice, will be balanced out, because that's what I'm going to do in A. I'm going to balance out my focus, and I use the next letter to balance it out. How will it be balanced out? Via the R. That's the next letter. The R will always try to reach its contextual connection point, because it's at the end it will be about connections. I already said it's about materializations which are unclear how they unfold, or at least not defined beforehand how they unfold or where they unfold to, and so on. No, it's some kind of movement, and the context will decide where it will connect. And it will connect, and you can see the connections, you can recognize the connections, you can recognize the definition of behaviors by following it up in its repetition, so in its pattern of repetition. When we hear the R, we also try to find the balance. What's the kind of balance which is living here? What's the vibration here in the R? What's the vibration of the common vibration here? So how is it working together? How is everything working together? And that I will try to connect. I will connect to my starting point first. I will connect the whole range of what is possible to connect, and I will start there from my connection point 5, and I will connect that starting point. I will connect then my starting point in all the variations that I can have, in all the creations even that can be visualized, can be materialized, can show itself, that can show these connections between my vision A to the whole set of variations that can be expressed towards a context, to anywhere into a certain rhythm, actually. That's it. So yeah, I will find also the certain rhythm of events. So in a way, what does this conclude already? Or how is it concluded, let's say, because I only know now, okay, I will try to visualize or to make a vision of a starting point which will connect to contexts, to an unfolding and towards a materialization process, and I will try to make context with it. The purpose or the end point will be positions of distinctions. So it doesn't say it is art like art, like, oh wow. No, you recognize something. So that's the last thing. You are basing with what can you recognize. You have to distinct something, and the more what you can recognize, the more elements in a way as well that can connect these two points, my vision and the connecting itself in a rhythm to the world. The more distinctions are also expressing art. And the T, normally it's a position in space, but I have to follow, of course, where the R is going. It's going to be not nearby, but at some point I will reach that, and I reach that connection point. I will make that distinction thanks to context, because the R before the T will drive the T towards the context. And in each variation that I can create, in each connection that I can create, I will make that circulation of connections, creating results and, of course, also distinctions that express that. So these connection points R of recognition, T, can be compared actually to patterns that are found, and that's, I think it's a quite good expression of it, because these patterns are like centralized focuses with variations and a certain performance. You have this performance, you have this rhythm, and you have points of distinction. Oh, you can recognize this, you can recognize this. The more is added in that way, the more also you have art, because these connection points which you can recognize, the more connection points you can make, the more it will become also an art form, also all the forms will be formed like in art. One should also not forget that or better understand the reason behind the R itself, because when you simply use the theory R, the theory just says, okay, it needs context. You have it in two ways so that you can find the rhythm. It's two, so it means two ways. There are at least two moments in space and time that you do not know, and you have to find the connection point. That's the theory. But the R, where does it exist? Where does it actually go to? It's not about two spirals, as I say it. The whole reason why I use two spirals is only simply because it's connecting material from one end to the other end, the whole way through, from the beginning to an end, from a beginning to a further development. It's that materialization process which is about in two-way connections, and that's how it finds its rhythm, that's how it finds its connections. And what you really sense in R, and that's what I should want to express as well, if R appears in a word and you are paying attention to these R, there is this vibration inside where you say, okay, but where is this going? It is as if you have an object and suddenly it starts to move, it starts to vibrate, and you really don't know what's going to be, where is it going to, how does it behave there, what is it, how does it hang together? That's the first association that you get with R. By hearing R, you want to emphasize how it hangs together, how it circulates in itself, how it can maintain itself, and how it also can find inner connections with the elements that you already can recognize. So these vibrations that they find the elements that make them vibrate, so that you can find, yeah, what do I have here, and how does it hang together better. And when I make it hang together better in this expression, so that I can distinct more, then of course I will find the R in the details. And when I find the R, I can find more distinctions or focus. I will make more focus and more patterns in a way. That's what art is about. It's about finding patterns. Art is finding the variations, more and more variations, so that it can live better. Also, the R is after the H. H is about what can live within a certain space. R is what can connect with what lives there. And that's what is happening in that word, in the associations. That's what it is happening. That's what we will do via these associations of A to R to T. I hope this made the word art more clear. Thanks again for watching. Bye.